Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. They were at property address 991 Northeast Rogan Street here in Hillsboro. Located at the front of the house. We are just to the right of the doorway. That's as you face the home from the street. That's how I describe everything. Directly in front of the first foundation vent you come to here, you have a 4-inch ABS cleanout. That's going to be our point of access. We're going to check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Water is running. Off we go. And I'm just using the garden hose today to simulate water flow. Same thing as running a sink. Just easier to turn on and off. Camera's upside down right now, if you didn't figure that out. Superbly clean sewer line right out of the gate. This is how you want your line to look right here. That flow line is absolutely spotless. After 13 years and almost 25,000 sewer scopes now, the main thing that gunks your pipe up is grease buildup, cooking oil, fats in general going down your line. That's become something I'm more concerned about, honestly, than structural issues in a lot of circumstances. Unless the structural issue is severe, what I have found is it is often thick grease buildup in conjunction with some improper items. And sometimes on top of that, some kind of structural issue. Like this, for instance. This is not a significant thing. I don't want you to think it is. This is actually, this is not the greatest example. This offset is rinky-dink. It's only like a 1/4 inch. But you get a situation like that, you know, generally I'm speaking about something a little more significant looking than that thing. But you get a spot like that where you know, in a household that's dumping a lot of cooking oil down the line, or grease likes to build up anytime you have standing water or some kind of structural defect, like an offset. Again, usually I'm referring to one that's more significant, but it's spots like that where stuff likes to concentrate. And what I found after they also did drain cleaning for many years is what I would find are a belly or something like that with a really thick layer of grease buildup. And someone finishes the job by clogging the pipe up with, you know, 20 balls of toilet paper or a bunch of paper towels or wipes or something like that. It often is a conjunction of things or a storm of events that honestly end up leading to a blockage. So I like to point it out when people are doing things right. This is a great example of how to treat your line right here. You kick the cooking oil and grease out of your line. Stuff moves through your pipe much more efficiently. When it does stop up, it doesn't get stuck to a big thick layer of grease buildup. And it's especially a good habit to keep up with if you have little kids in the house that are still learning how to fold toilet paper. Balled up toilet paper blockages are the most common blockage out there by a long shot. In many cases, the line will block and the blockage will break loose on its own under head pressure. That's just the water weight building up behind the blockage. Because toilet paper is a proper item. It disintegrates on its own. Although balled up toilet paper is not how you should run it down the line. But anyway, when you get a line that has a big thick layer of grease buildup in it, that same blockage that might otherwise break loose after 5 or 10 feet of pipe fill up behind it can now withstand 30 or 40 feet because it's essentially glued to the pipe wall with a bunch of grease buildup. So it's just more likely that stuff that is kind of run-of-the-mill will turn into a sewer event. So, good maintenance item. We're going to go ahead and locate the camera head here. We've hit the main, and this line in particular ties directly into the manhole out in the street. And we're going to go locate that really quick here while the pipe drains. Alrighty, located the camera head successfully, and it's a rather long sewer line. My guess is this is probably one of the first homes on this part of the house when it was being built. Typically speaking, with a house like this sitting this close to the road, I would expect this line to be almost half the length that it is. So if you're standing out in the road, facing the front of the home, the line heads towards the right side edge of the property. There's a manhole that's actually beyond the property line. The line kind of cuts at an angle, so it doesn't appear you're crossing property lines or anything like that. But there's a manhole that's a good... Actually, it sits fairly in line with the neighbor's property line to the right of the house, their left side edge of their property. Out in the road there, you'll see a manhole with 2 holes in it. It's offset closer to this side of the street than the other manhole that's there. Line terminates directly into that manhole. In fact, overall, the line basically is doing about a 45-degree angle shot from the clean out to the road there, all said and done. Now, it happens a lot where because this may have been the first house that went in on this part of the development, but the main lateral probably didn't come all the way up the road yet in front of the house, so that was kind of the only option they had. And it's not always an ideal option, just because it often, it basically necessitates the line be quite a bit longer than it would otherwise be, typically speaking. So, and the longer your run is, the more likely it is you're going to end up with settling problems, just because you have a finite amount of depth to work with to grade that sewer line. So when you're having to grade a line out to, let's say, an 8-foot deep main, when you only have to make a 40-foot run, you can put a pretty hard pitch on that pipe and honestly have a very easy time grading it. When you're running a line this long, this was installed very well. This little tiny offset joint here, which I can barely even call an offset, is a very minor visual blemish, especially considering the length this line is here. So I will notate that on the report here at about 39 feet. You have about a quarter to maybe a half-inch offset. It doesn't even appear to be a half-inch. If I put my camera right up to that thing, that is just barely hitting above the bottom of my camera lens, which sits about a quarter-inch off the pipe. Left side edge there is getting a little bit higher than that. Either way, in 4-inch diameter pipe, that is a very, very minor offset joint. It's hardly worth talking about. It's so minor. If you're blocking and backing up on a lip that tiny, you are flushing some crazy stuff down your sewer pipe, especially in large diameter pipe like this. 4-inch diameter is ideal. It provides a lot of leeway. Anyway, joint's all intact there, spotless clean line, and I would not expect to see buildup or any blockage evidence there, not unless I also found a line that was completely coated with grease buildup and nothing but paper towels was going down. I mean, it would take extreme abuse like that to ever result in something out of that. We're just about back to the clean out here. I'm going to run backwards for just a moment to go through the foundation wall. Everything from that point and beyond is all exposed piping in the crawl space. That's stuff that you don't need a camera for. Everything from the clean out access to the main lateral connection is in good condition, has good flow, and is functioning properly at this time. And then going backwards into the home here, this vertical we're going up right now is the dive as the line dives down to exit the foundation. And you've got a rinky-dink, teeny little bit of standing water here. It's about a 2-foot length of pipe, and that is, between a 1/16 and a 1/4 inch of standing water. Just like the offset, that thing is so minor it's hardly worth talking about. Stuff like that has almost no bearing on functionality or flow at all. And for reference, I don't even consider repairs on plastic pipe with standing water until there's at least 1 inch of water for 5 feet. That's with no water running at all. It's very rare that I recommend a repair on a belly like that, unless it's very particular circumstances. One, I want it to at least be in a smaller diameter 3-inch pipe, but also very close proximity to the home, if not underneath it. Generally speaking, though, I usually only recommend bellies or repairs on bellies like that these days when they're in old rough pipe materials like cast iron and concrete.